Kira, good evening. It will be the end of the year before Stadium Southland reopens to the public. December has now been given as the date for the reopening of the stadium. The rebuild comes after the stadium collapsed in a snowstorm in September 2010 and the work has been fraught with delays. Stadium Southland manager Nigel Scout says fantastic progress has been made in the past 3 or 4 months. The reveal of Stadium Southland's new look is slowly becoming apparent, with scaffolding on the north face now being removed.
Behind me now you can see that the frontage is now almost complete and the scaffolding has come down, so you can get a really good insight into the size of the building, the structure and the total redevelopment of the stadium.
It's been quite a time-consuming redevelopment, Nigel. When are we going to see it open for use? Well,
it's been 3 years, obviously, on September the 18th, so we're looking at in December. That's the clear indication we're having now, and we're certainly on song for that December opening.
How many shows or events have been put off or turned away because this process is taking so long?
Oh, we've been really fortunate to have the SIT Zero Fees Velodrome, obviously, which we've put a lot of events into there, but we've lost a few conferences and some of the biggest sporting spectacles, obviously, that we can't have in the stadium, and also the big international acts that we've lost. But in general terms, we've probably put 75% of the events back into the Velodrome, so we've been very fortunate.
Can you give us a monetary value on what business has been lost?
Oh, it's probably cost us a couple of $100,000 a year, to be fair, in monetary value, and more so to the community in the fact that we can't have those things happening.
As far as the redevelopment, what's caused the biggest delays here?
Oh, it's no question. It's been the earthquake and the consequences of the earthquake, no doubt. The building codes have changed significantly over time. We've been very fortunate to have a very proactive insurance company we've worked alongside with, and we're still going through the final negotiations with the insurance company regarding payout. But it's been a very long, involved process and an extremely difficult build.
What areas have the biggest savings been made as a result of running over budget?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. Haven't been able to save a lot, to be fair. The core blocks caused us a lot of anguish in the sense, obviously, it was the piece that was still left standing. It's had to be brought up to code, and the project team are absolutely adamant that safety is not going to be compromised, so working really hard in that area. So, look, we've got a fantastic redeveloped venue, and I think that's the key word, redeveloped, and I think there's a real wow factor that the Southland community will see when they get back in here in December.
How long till we find out final costs involved?
Oh, we're wavering around that $43 million, $44 million at the present point in time. Look, we've worked really hard to contain what we can contain, but the earthquakes hit us quite badly, obviously.
Test results have confirmed the bacteria found in the whey protein concentrate manufactured by Fonterra is not Clostridium botulinum, according to the Ministry for Primary Industries. Results show another organism which is not capable of producing botulism-causing toxins. MPI says there are no known food safety issues associated with Clostridium sporogenus, although elevated levels of certain strains may be associated with food spoilage. Fonterra Chief Executive Theo Spirings says while there is a sense of shared relief that the product was not contaminated, Fonterra did the right thing by initiating a precautionary recall. Federated Farmers says the message that products are safe needs to be urgently communicated to regulators and global markets. The Southern DHB has a new machine to fight cancer and reduce treatment waiting times for patients. The True Beam was unveiled at Dunedin Hospital last week and is the most technologically advanced of the Southern DHB's 3 linear accelerators. The machine delivers high-energy radiation with pinpoint accuracy, causing less damage to surrounding tissue, and has a tilt function so patients can be well positioned for beam delivery. The $6.3 million machine replaces the DHB's 18-year-old linear accelerator, which took 15 months to remove before the new machine could be installed at a remodelled bunker. Air New Zealand has announced a huge rise in before-tax profit at $256 million, a 172% rise, and the company's best result in 5 years. Chairman John Palmer says the result places Air New Zealand among the best-performing airlines globally. He says the company is focused on further improving that result in the 2014 year, and based on forecast demand, fuel prices at current levels, early results and forward bookings, it looks encouraging. After-tax profit was $182 million. Mr Palmer says strong results allow Air New Zealand to reinvest in products, services, training and development. Eel and Swede may not sound appealing to some, but a group of aspiring young Southland chefs are hoping it'll prove an appetising combination at the upcoming Southern Wild Food Festival. Southland Boys High School Tryline Cafe, staffed by students under the guidance of well-known chef Scott Richardson, is the first to make an expression of interest in the inaugural festival. The event, being organised by the Rotary Club of Invercargill, is being held on February 15th next year. Organisers are looking for stall holders with wild and wacky food ideas based on the theme of hunting and gathering. Expressions of interest are now being called for from those wanting to be stall holders at the festival. Stay with us after the break. We're at the premiere of a movie filmed in Southland. Welcome back. A premiere was held in Invercargill last night for the film The Weight of Elephants, shot in Southland last year. The film is about a sensitive young boy struggling with fears and anxieties since the disappearance of 3 kids in his town and his new neighbours. I spoke to writer-director Daniel Joseph Borgman about the movie and the reasons for holding a premiere in Invercargill.
We've had a lot of premieres, but I think this is the most important one. So it's not just about deciding to have one here, it's about that this is where the film was made, where many of the people in the film come from, where a lot of the supports come from, where I'm from, where we shot the movie, where the story, a lot of the texture in the story is from here. So yeah, and it's just about coming back and sharing what we've all created with everybody, and it's really cool. I hope people like it.
So why did you decide to choose Southland as the place to shoot this and make it?
Because this is where I come from, I think so. Just some weird magnet was like pulling back here, I don't know why. But probably also because my mother and my sisters have been here more recently, and because my family's moved around a bit. And it's just been where I've come to when I've been sort of in New Zealand, because I've been overseas a little bit. Yeah, and I think so. It's just sort of the part of New Zealand that I connect with the most strongly.
Now, this film's actually been selected for several international film festivals. How do you feel about that?
That's good. It's good. Relieved? Yeah, it's great. No, it's really cool. And I've been able to go to some. I won't go to all of them, but I will get to the odd one, and that's really nice.
Was that an expectation that you had, that you would get that far?
Yeah, we had, to be honest, yeah. It's sort of, you have to. And I've been quite successful with my short films, so there was a little bit of pressure that should be the case, and yeah, I'm really happy, and of course you can't second guess the festivals, and there is an element of luck and an element of taste and who's picking, and so yeah, it's been very nice that we're doing all right. Yeah.
Is this a movie that you think that Kiwis will actually connect with?
Yeah, I hope so. It's a tough film, and it's a serious film, and it takes itself seriously, and that's something that a lot of New Zealand thinks creative output doesn't necessarily do, because we quite like to not take ourselves too seriously and not, we sort of try to almost dodge that. But yeah, it is about us, and it is especially about here, so hopefully people will see something in it, of worth.
Are you working on anything new?
Yeah, I'm working on another film. It's about a teenager and about love and about family. And it's set in the south at the moment, but we'll see what happens.
So do you think you could be back filming in Southland again?
One day. I don't know with the next one, but I hope to. I would love to just make films down here forever. Yeah, I'd love to make this big period film about, the wild west of Southland, but whether I get to do that or not, we'll wait and see.
A joint operation to address the growing number of vehicles for sale on the side of the road in Invercargill is set to start next month. The New Zealand Transport Agency and Invercargill City Council met this week to discuss details of a combined approach to police illegal roadside selling of vehicles. Parked vehicles will be given joint written notice from NZTA and ICC, warning the activity is illegal and the vehicle is at risk of being moved. If after fair opportunity vehicles are not removed, they'll be taken away at the owner's expense under bylaw rules. The joint approach will enable consistent enforcement of Invercargill's state highways and streets. The Invercargill Fire Service will soon celebrate a big milestone, with the brigade marking its 150th year in 2013. Hundreds of firefighters have served in the Invercargill Fire Brigade since it was established on May 23, 1863. 150th celebrations are being held in October at Labour Weekend, with current and former firefighters from around the country and Australia expected to attend. Southland Area Manager Bruce Stubbs describes the fire service as being like a big family. He says 150 years is an anniversary well worth celebrating.
The brigades were formed in the mid-1800s, and I believe the first one was up in Auckland, and so we're 1863, so we're very, very early on.
Now, in terms of that, how much has that changed in the time?
Oh, huge amount of change. Even in 5 years, we've seen a lot of change. Volunteers were part of it right from the start. We had that old fire police unit, they're now operational support. So there's been massive changes. Changes to station, changes to the way that we do things, the type of equipment, the station accommodation, all those sorts of things. There's been a huge change in 150 years.
Now, why decide to have these celebrations?
Any opportunity for a good celebration. We can't pass that up. But 150 years is a big milestone for brigades. We do the 100th and 125 and 150th. So, yeah, good opportunity for brigade members, past and present, to reflect on a huge history.
So how many firefighters are likely to be coming back for this?
Well, we're hoping that there'll be like 200, 250, that's including partners. So that would be a good turnout.
Now, in terms of celebrations, there are some things for the public as well. It's not exclusive to current and former firefighters.
No, on the Saturday, we're hoping to have an open day where the public can come and join us to celebrate. We're closing the street off in Jed Street, and we'll have activities for the public.
And that's it from news. Sports along shortly with the Stags as they prepare for this week's home game. Good night.